Yeah, Charles! Hello there, kids and kittens. My name's Andrew, but on the internet people call me Dougan. We're making chicken rendang today. Shrimp dumplings. There's a joke in there somewhere. Something, Carrie kills Hitler, or plot twist. Hi fun. I'm just starting the video. Noise. Today's chicken has the date of the 1st of October. Today is the 28th of September. That means I have 2 more days to log with the Her Majesty's government any claims to thermally insulate the house better than it currently is. Challenge accepted. Sensational! Yeah, that's probably the wrong point for an intro point there. However, today, kids and kittens, we're making chicken rendang. Nope, sorry. I cook Indonesian style chicken rendang. However, I might do the green beans separate from the basmati rice. That way the Jills get to have some rice. My god, they go so crazy over fucking rice. First things first, or if you ever watch the Jackie Chan cartoons, one more thing! Chipotle paste. Chicken, almost 3 times as much as what I actually need. Freak garlic. No, that's not garlic. That's baby corn. And red thyme curry paste. Don't need you. Green beans. I need 80 grams of green beans. I got 200 grams of green beans. Courtesy of nice people at Tesco's. Obviously, other brands are available. Something to make it Irish, even though it's technically Belgian beer. And salt. So I think I'll do is I'm going to modify I'm modifying the recipe here. I will do the green beans separate from the rice itself. I'll do that with a bit of mustard seed, I think. That way I get to keep some rice, keep that safe for tomorrow and make myself some nasi goreng. Which reminds me, I hope you kids and kittens have watched the awesome video by Uncle Roger. So if you don't watch it, Uncle Roger will be very sad. It all started with him reacting to Andy Hersher making egg fried rice. And the plot line or punchline being, "What? You drained the rice? How is your rice that wet that you need to drain it?" And then the second bit, obviously, once you drain the rice, Andy Hersher then rinse the rice under the tap, making it wet again. This makes Uncle Roger very sad. I'll include a link for it. If I forget to include a link for anything, please do harass me about it. Because sometimes I do forget, and life gets in the way. But I highly recommend Uncle Roger. He is #1 person I watch on the internet, aside from political commentators, just saying. Which brings me to today's political post box. What else is here? Oh yeah, garlic is what I was going for. Oh, and a good okay, fish sauce. Let's use you. Fish sauce. Or fish sauce. Oh, my bad. You. Chipotle paste. Yes, chipotle paste sounds at odds. Me making Indonesian style. Oh, some of it didn't. Oh, thank God. Okay, nothing drastically broke there. Coconut, share cardamom pods, garlic, chicken. Yeah, okay, I got plenty there. So I heard something go clang. It was obviously my Gardens by the Bay fridge magnet, courtesy of Singapore. Which takes me around to sort of where I was going to do this. People have been hearing Boris Johnson doing some really crazy shit recently. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm pretty sure Python won't recognize that as being not audio and will include that sound just because Python is really stupid. It doesn't rely upon obviously the visual cues, it relies upon basic audio. Hence, obviously it's not my Python code. I've stolen someone's Python code. I say steal, it's on GitHub. It's an awesome bit of code, but not as stupid. Well, maybe not the Python code, obviously. That Python code's really good in my opinion. Cheers, by the way. Remember, kids, drink responsibly. Yep, that works for me. So, first things first, rice. You wash the rice. Otherwise you make Uncle Roger very sad. I will use a colander to drain the wet rice that's been washed. 300 grams, and it says 150, so 200. Wash rice. I cannot stress that enough. You always wash. So I wasn't trying to go for the racist accent there. Always wash your rice, and I got weak. The whole idea is you're washing all the starches on the outside of the rice. The idea is once the rice water looks clear, it is sufficiently washed. Dang it, I'm losing rice outside the pot. Hope I don't make Uncle Roger very sad. You drain the rice? But yeah, so I was kind of going somewhere with this. Boris Johnson recently has been doing some really wacky shit, more so than usual. I dread to think whatever would happen, obviously, Nigel Farage at the head of the food table. Food chain. we've recently had an announcement that obviously, that's a message, don't need all that. Recently we had an announcement, obviously all pubs, restaurants and crap will close at 10. That does not mean last orders, that is that you are out the door at 10. That's what I said, the extra noise. Remember, don't throw your colander away. One of my colleagues at work, her partner still works in retail, works in hospitality, and had to explain to someone that ordering a bottle of wine at 9:30 would mean you'd have to take it outside when you finish. Not that you'd be allowed to sit in the restaurant and drink the rest of a bottle of wine. No, 10, you are out the door. The staff are already on the way home. Hence leading to many scenes where obviously it's become the norm that basically what you just do is once you've been kicked out, you go to the off license and get a couple of cans and carry on the party outside. I've also heard stories that obviously the takeaway places saying, we're not going to be open, this crowd is not manageable, we're not taking that responsibility, go fuck off. So, now that was 300 grams of water, so I need basic math. Not basic math, not fast math, accurate math. Always have accurate math. Feels like someone redeemed themselves, doesn't it? 300. Now, I'll go for the school of method of cooking, or cooking rice, but obviously whatever mass you have of rice, you need double the mass in water. I have 300 grams of basmati rice. I'm putting in 600 grams of water. Just checking, I actually did put volume. Ignition! Let that come to a boil. Once it's boiling, turn it to simmer. Start timer for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, until all the rice is reabsorbed. Then take off the heat. Let's sit with the lid on. Critical, that is. Or, as Uncle Roger says, buy a rice cooker. When you mess up your rice, just throw it away. So, second thing. I have a chopping board. Chopping board check. I'm going to skip on the cardamom. I know it's not moving. Watch me there. My bad. Do you actually want to watch me? Garlic, ginger. Now, I think what I need to do is, actually, I'm going to keep the green board safe. Safe, right? Safe. I'm going to use a red board. Yes, I'm using a red board to cut veg. No, I'm not. I'm going to use a green board. Red board for meat, green board for veg. Don't mix the two up. Why? Well, kind of hard to mix those two up, even if you're colourblind. True story. Itchy nose. Let's put half of those on here. Keep the other half for tomorrow. I'm doing nasi goreng tomorrow. Yes, I do appreciate two Indonesian dishes in one go. I've got the chicken rendang today and nasi goreng tomorrow. But Boris Johnson doing wacko moves. Chris Whitty, this chief medical officer, has advised on a 2-week lockdown to let track and trace catch up, because track and trace is just that behind right now. Obviously, powers that be don't want to do that because, well, I'll say conservative government, sounding sarcastically, I know that. They do not like the idea of they never like the idea of a lockdown in the first place. Rinse your greens by the way. Noise! Conservative government never liked the idea of a lockdown, okay? They had to do it. They were going to go for, let's keep the place open, like Sweden did. And we saw how fantastic Sweden handled the pandemic. One of per def capita, one of the highest. So yeah, that was just handled just expertly, if you ask me. Green beans to one side. But obviously then Boris Johnson and his crew is saying, oh yeah, the track and trace has got enough capacity, blah blah blah. We've now got the tracing app, which by the way, if you haven't got the track and trace app, there is one, okay? Actually, I'm going to say, if you're watching this in the UK, there is an NHS approved track and trace. Though, full transparency, it's not the National Health Service doing it, it's a private clinic called Circa, and they've messed up many things along the way, but they still have the contract. If this was anything else, if this was a reliable government, the contract would have gone elsewhere ages ago. Since the Tories just donate to people that give contracts of like £1 million contracts to their buddies who donated to the party, is it any wonder? So, tinfoil hat territory, I know I'm not wearing tinfoil hats. I'm still wearing a baseball cap because hair's ridiculously long. I should have go for a barber's cut. I use the hat to keep it out of my face when doing this. Now, the question is, do I let it grow long enough until I reach a ponytail, or do I stop before then? That's what I don't know. When people ask me, what am I doing with this? Bugger if I know. Yeah. But suffice to say, I get to talk to a camera for, I don't know, however long I'm going to do this today. I know I'm recording up to about 16 minutes here at the moment, so. But I'm doing the start of dinner. Boris is doing something wacky with regards to everything. I think the annoying thing is, obviously, I have now met one person who says, well, Boris is doing a good, okay-ish job. You know, what's the worst? What could have anyone else done? Thinking, look at every other country. Well, exception obviously of Brazil and America. So just basically ignore the American Isles. Virtually anyone else has done a better job than Great Britain. We ourselves have the highest death count in Europe. Not the highest per capita, mind. You know, look at Sweden. However, we have a much higher portion of people here. And from what we're tracing or testing, we're not testing enough in my opinion. People are then having, there, rice has now started to simmer. There, start a 10-minute timer, so I'll go ping when it's 10 minutes in. So there's numerous stories of people not being able to get tests done, which always baffled me in one respect, how somehow Nigel Farage got a test after he went to America just so he could have the first pint when the pubs reopened at his local, despite breaching quarantine technically. Quarantine says he has to be self-isolated for 14 days after coming back from any country that has a higher R value than we do. His justification to the libtards, but I had a test. That isn't what the guidelines say. Unfortunately, that is guidelines. They're not rules. But last week or 2 weeks ago, Keir Starmer couldn't attend Prime Minister's questions, so hence Boris Johnson thought he had a respite for a moment. Angela Thingy went to town on Boris Johnson instead. Yeah, that sounds well good already, Nash. I know that's just rice cooking, that's the pressing bit. Right, yeah, I'm just gonna apply the tea strainers. First of all problems, tea strainer. When you're preparing ginger, I find it easiest to use a spoon to scrape the skin off. Works obviously better when it's fresh-ish ginger. So sorry, I was going somewhere with that. But yes, Keir Starmer, the head of the opposition party, couldn't get a test himself. Granted, he was asymptomatic, but Nigel Farage could get a test to be quarantined, so he can go to the pub. So that's how bad the testing system has gotten in the UK here. We're sending tests to Italy and Germany because we can't keep up with the backlog, okay? So when people say we have plenty of testing capacity, we probably do have testing capacity. I'm sure we do. We just can't get hold of the reagents we need to do the tests. So, but yeah, we have plenty of testing capacity apparently. Let's just see if I'm using the grater. Oh, itch. That was work. Yeah, why don't I do it ages ago? Oh yeah, why did I not think of using the cheese grater to do ginger ages ago? That's much better. Right, and get a second one of these cheese graters. Mind the things that's yeah, that's much better. That's much better. Why didn't nobody tell me I could use a cheese grater for this stuff? Because you never asked us about the class. But all of these moves that we do with regards to the track and trace and all these extra restrictions and basically putting UK under special lockdown, they don't actually do lockdown, they're saying we're going to do these restrictions, blah blah blah, freedom, blah blah blah, fines. I don't think they can find everybody. I don't think they have enough police to find everybody itself. Now it's not a challenge to say go and break the rules. You can't be fined because they can't arrest us all. They'll arrest enough of us. But at the same time, Wordsworth. They can't arrest us all. I'm not using it as a challenge to say, hey, let's go knock someone's shit up yourself. But it's more along the lines that, A, if they want to maintain law and order, the next step we're going to have to do is they're going to have to consider deploying the army. Because ironically, one of the things about the Tory government, they have underfunded the police force. We have lost almost 20,000 police officers because of Tory budget cuts. Okay? I know every single time that they then say, oh, we're going to put more police on the street and they give us a number, it's still less than the number we lost initially. Sorry, not COVID, I think. Rice is 5 minutes away from being done here. Well, on the hot least. Then you take it off the heat and let it just stew in its own metaphorical juices. But I always cook the rice first because it takes the longest to do in my opinion. Now I hear it's moving upstairs, so I'm going to wrap this up in a moment here. I hope you kids and kids are staying safe. When you next see me, ask me how my shed's doing. If you enjoy this kind of shit, hit like as well. It really helps the channel out. Aside from the fact that the main channel I'm going to be putting this up on is old, the link video is going to be is something is now undemonetized, and I've been still tinkering around with a shed since the start of lockdown began back in March. So next time you see me, ask me how my shed's doing. Yeah, cool. Ciao.